When I was growing up, it was like, I'd open my phone and I'd have a Snapchat from like some boy in my year or something who I wasn't really friends with or anything, or maybe I was kind of on the side friends with but not close, and it would just be a picture of his penis.
For more and more young people, this is becoming an increasingly common experience.
I opened it up and I was mortified one time because I was sat next to my auntie, and luckily she didn't see it, but she just knew something was going on. I was hiding it. I've not asked for it, so they're not asking consent to do that and put me in that position. It's sexual harassment, but they also just don't understand like the extent of what damage that could cause, because I'm not someone that's going to screenshot that and share it, but anyone else could, and they could get in a lot of trouble because they don't understand kind of the risks of it and what's actually involved.
These 5 students are among those who grew up amid the expansion of social media and smartphones.
Stuff like Snapchat, you just get it and you open it because you can't see what it is before. It's not a message. There is no consent involved, and I think that's probably quite a dangerous part of it. It's quite difficult to refuse someone when you're worried about the repercussions, and especially because you're worried about usually someone getting annoyed or angry or violent.
When I was a teenager, even when I was in college, that is your world, and your world is as far as your like social media or phone goes in that kind of sense, and so like you feel so pressured to kind of just give in to all these things.
Snapchat, Messenger, even email, MSN, all that stuff that I used when I was younger, you suddenly have coercion and abuse in your pocket. So if you're experiencing something from a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a partner, it's suddenly just there all the time. They can message you and be like, where are you? What are you doing? Why are you not messaging me? Why are you not replying sooner?
I've had like various different relationships, and I've been in some where it's almost expected if they send you something, you should send them it back, because if you're not, then either you don't like what they've sent, they're not worthy of it, or you're just not holding up your end of the bargain kind of thing.
Only now I can look back and say, oh, that was coercion. You're not meant to tell someone, oh, you'd do this if you loved me, if you'd do this, and that's the thing. So many young people are experiencing this without the knowledge or the communication to be able to say to an adult or someone they trust, hey, should this be happening?
Figures obtained by Scotland Tonight show the number of recorded crimes involving people disclosing or threatening to disclose an intimate image has more than trebled in the past 4 years. Stuart Allardyce has worked with children and young people who display harmful sexual behaviour for more than 20 years.
It's likely that there is more disinhibited, risk-taking behaviour by young people online, but also it's likely that we as adults have changed our thresholds, and things that perhaps 10, 15 years ago would have been laughed off as boys being boys, we're now quite rightly recognising cause harm and are abusive and need to be responded to.
Sharing images also creates the risk of them being spread further at a later date.
The thing that scares me now is that people still have their old exes' photos, and I think that's something that's so dangerous. It's like almost a norm. People just either forget to delete them or forget. But that's something that's not really touched upon as much.
You're feeling pressured to be like, okay, I want to satisfy this person because I like this person, so you send them a chest pic or whatever, and then say something happens, you guys get in a fight, or they want to show their bros and gals, and then somehow your picture is getting all over.
Consent isn't a one and done thing. Like, it's not like I said yes this one time and I can't take it back all of a sudden. And I think as a society, we often forget that we can do that. Like, oh, yeah, I may have liked this before or whatever, but I'm telling you now, like, no, this is not gonna fly. And it's the same thing with the picture. Like, yeah, while we were dating, I sent you this picture, but that doesn't mean that you can keep it past breaking up or something.
We can keep on enforcing a message to young people saying, don't do this. But actually that makes it more difficult for young people to come forward and ask for help if they have done it. So I think we need to move to a message which is about getting young people to recognise the harm that's caused when images are shared in non-consensual contexts. So it's an anti-harm message that we need to get across here.
With things that I've experienced, there was absolutely no way I was reporting it because there was too much doubt put on me by other people or put on me by myself because of the actual experience. When we're talking about a lot of sexual traumas, they are trauma.
Our education system isn't keeping up with the technology we've got. Young people are like watching porn and seeing porn, but they're not actually being taught how to view it, how to think, this isn't real life. It's almost like social media has opened this Pandora's box where suddenly all these movements can talk to each other and be like, oh, you're experiencing that, and all these things are coming out. And now it's like institutions, society, government even sometimes, it's like they're trying to push it back in the box because it was a lot easier when these things weren't talked about.
I think there's been an enormous recognition in social work and in the police and other professions that young people's behaviour can be abusive and can be every bit as impactful and harmful as sexual abuse that's perpetrated by adults. That's incredibly important.
Every single person will know someone, whether they actually know about the person's issue or not, that gender-based violence has happened to. Every single person. And I think people haven't quite clocked that about this. They're like, oh, it's only a small proportion. It's not a small proportion. I think it's going to take years to deconstruct, but I think as gradually, I think the norms are going to change, and then the older views will be pushed out in for newer ones. We've seen it happen over the last 50 years with loads of different issues, and hopefully this one will be the same in the next 20 years.